bringing you guys yet another YouTube video. Today we're doing yet another podcast today with my co-host Nero X. I'll have all of his stuff down below in the description box, his Twitter and his YouTube. Be sure to check it out. It has some very, very good content, gaming and music as well. So let's jump right into the first topic that we have, which is what do we think needs to be done to be successful on YouTube?
Thanks for having me there, Finn. To be successful on YouTube, you have to market yourself successfully, and I mean, gaming channels nowadays kind of now are a dime a dozen, given the advent of guys like the Angry Video Game Nerd. Some call me Johnny. Some call me Johnny's awesome. The Black Okage. A lot of those guys coming up using basically all coming up. And now to market yourself a certain way, you have to kind of separate yourself and have your own distinct feel to your content, and it's really and it's harder to do this now, but do stuff other people aren't doing at the moment. So
right, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I feel like that needs to be done to be successful on YouTube, but I feel like there's in a sense there are tools that can help you. People say, oh, you need great thumbnails, you need great tags, you need great this, but some people didn't have all that. Some people didn't follow what you call it, the typical, what they call things to be successful. They just got a viral video and then they just got known, or I don't know, just I feel like there's multiple things that needs to be done. Like you said, one, obviously separating yourself from the crowd, but it's so hard to do that now because I feel like everyone's doing the same thing. Like the videos I do, there's probably easily 20 other people that do the exact same video, or have done the exact same video.
That or some people go all retro and don't go new school. Some people do all new school and don't go retro when it comes to reviewing games or showing games off for Let's Plays and whatnot. So I feel like you have to have the balance between, newer game, what's hot right now, like Overwatch, and showing that off and giving that, some love like everybody else has done, but you also have to do in some instances, older games or more obscure games in order to really get some love going towards them. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Einhunter, which I don't think most people have ever really heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of that game.
yeah, it's an old PS1 game that was made by Squaresoft. But anyway, because of just how what's the word I'm looking for, obscure it is, because not that many people knew it even existed. I feel like if you did something on that, you could probably get a decent amount of views on it from people who don't know that game ever existed, and from people who knew of it and had it back in the day. So that's always
that's what you see on Twitch. You see a lot of people who play games like Bully or the Warriors, games that are not super hot, but there's a small audience for it, and then they kind of grow that way. But at the same time, people that only play games, like you said, it can go both ways. If you play only retro games, you're only going to get a certain amount of audience because some people feel for me, some people play, let's say Bully. Don't get me wrong, it's a great game, but
Bully was awesome.
It was great. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I played it 5 or 6 times, so it's I don't want to see walkthroughs because I know what, I know what to do. So, but then you also have people that play new games too much, and then there's an oversaturation of new games, so it kind of can go flip-flop, either way. It's like you said, the balance is probably the best thing, and then just being yourself. There's so many people on YouTube that imitate other people. They're not themselves.
Or try to be someone they're not.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes into eClout. I think was the next topic we had, eClout.
Yeah, we can jump right in. Yeah, so the next topic that we're going to talk about is eClout, which there's so many definitions of eClout. So I don't know if you want to each say maybe our own definition, what we think is our own definition of eClout.
I think my definition of it is, and I think the best definition of eClout is if you have a decent sized following or a decent sized audience on any platform such as YouTube, Tumblr, DeviantArt, whatever your thing is. If you have a decent sized following on that and you can influence your audience to go a certain way, that to me is eClout.
People think that eClout is you thinking that you're the stuff, where another person definitely eClout is what you said, it could mean that you are known. And I think a lot of that has to do with what people call it, they let the YouTube fame
in a way,
head. Yeah, they let the YouTube fame, they let the Twitch fame kind of get to their head, and then they think they're like the top, like they're the top of the line. And I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, you make money, yeah, you may be famous, but at the end of the day, it's like your viewers is who got you famous. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, you put the work in too, but like if no one came and watched your stuff,
You wouldn't be going
yeah,
anywhere.
you wouldn't be nothing. And at the end of the day, you have to remember this is still commission based. So like you could be hot right now, and then next year someone else could come out and play the game better than you, be better than you in general, and you could die out. And that's just
Yeah.
the reality of the industry that like we're like trying to pursue.
Yeah, the internet is a cruel and unforgiving mistress, as they say, or as I just said, anyway.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like eCloud is just, it's like, I don't know. It just, yeah, it's like just being trying to be famous and you think you're the stuff. And some people it helps because like if you're like one of those people that, if you're one of those people who you really want to, what you call it,
Really want to go somewhere
well, yeah,
with
you really want to, yeah,
YouTube,
you want to
or
make a change. That's probably great because like there's people out there that are really trying to make a change in the
yeah,
industry. They just can't get that like moment,
that
you
that
know.
or that group or that following behind them.
Right. Like almost like what we was talking about the other day, like the Black Hokage, like their group, like they're so like I feel like beyond just the gaming community, but like people don't want to see that. People want to see people yelling, like going ADHD and like
Yeah,
just crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to see content that's actually like
thoughtful and
yeah,
thought provoking.
right, exactly. They want to see stuff like, don't get me wrong, I like to see the stuff people yelling and stuff too. It's entertaining, but that's not all I want to watch. And then
Yeah,
you know
there's got to be a balance between entertainment, like a game, like some game reviews are informative, some are genuinely hilarious, depending on who's doing it. And there's also, you got to have the thoughtful content with like this, like putting out stuff that makes people think about what's going on around you or what's going on in the gaming industry and blah, and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. eCloud is just, and to be honest, I feel like that's something that's like big in the 2K community. Like, don't get me wrong,
That's
you know what I mean?
primarily probably where it came from.
Yeah, like I feel like that's where that came from, is like the 2K community. Like, because like once I started playing NBA 2K16 and 17, you watch videos like how to get this badge, how to
Yeah.
get that badge. You hear that a lot, is like just like clout. It's like, all right, stop with the clout.
Like the definition of it had probably been around. We just didn't come up with a word for it.
Right.
I think until about like 2K started to pick up a following on YouTube and whatnot.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff. It's like it doesn't get big until like people start saying it and just, I don't know. So
And then just picks up steam.
basically,
I believe.
well, our next one we had was like genres we'd like to see make a comeback.
Oh, right,
So that
right.
could,
I'm kind of more of the indie game connoisseur of the two of us, But anyway, indie games have like since Steam kind of became a thing, indie games have really picked up steam, no pun intended. And you see games like Dust and Elysian Tale, which is a Metroidvania game, which is amazing, by the way. Go play it. And Playtonic Studios recently has Yooka-Laylee on the books. This is like a tribute to Banjo-Kazooie, which is a classic game. That's a classic 3D platforming game. Ugh, sorry, easy for me to say there. And that's definitely a genre that's kind of been gone from video games for a good while, despite there still being a really big market for it. So it's great to see games like that kind of really slowly but surely making a comeback into widespread attention.
I really have like a genre. Like, I think I just have like maybe certain type of games. Like, I know like the Warriors, like those old kind of like back, what was it, like the 70s or 80s or something like that, I think. Like those old kind of like fighting games. Well, not fight, but like kind of like gang, but it's like
Brawler, kind of.
yeah, like that. Like Bully. Like, I thought Bully was a great game because it was like Grand Theft Auto, but like on a kid scale in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it kind of gave you what it would look like, I guess, for like a
Like
kid.
it was still a Rockstar game. It definitely had the Rockstar charm to it, but it was. I
It was
thought of
different,
I was yeah. I thought of Bully as kind of like a sarcastic love letter to high school, because Jimmy's the main character. He's 16. He's in high school, and it's understandable. It's not like sugarcoating what goes on in high school, because people do get bullied, but at the same time, it's done in a funny manner, in a memorable manner.
Right, and something about like the game, like I don't think I've ever played any two games like that where I've played them multiple times. Like, you play a game, you're like, oh, it was great, it was really good, but you're not gonna go back maybe necessarily play it again. Like
Like
those games, I
not
would play
immediately
them.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, like those games, I wanted to play them over and over and over and over. I remember I like, like when the game first came out. Well, not first came out, but like that was like when Blockbuster was open. And I don't know if you remember, they had
Yeah,
the
remember
regular.
Blockbuster? Remember when Blockbuster was a thing?
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, man, that was like the best thing. Like, don't get me wrong. What's it called?
The Binding of Isaac. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Essentially, it's like
Yeah, I've played it before. It's very frustrating.
it's frustrating. Yeah, RNG is
It's
a
good, but it's
cool.
frustrating.
But I'd love to see bigger publishers take on games in that style, that kind of retro, hard but satisfying to finish style. And I mean, Dark Souls, you could argue, took a similar approach, but I'd love to see a game like Dust and Elysian Tale be a bigger thing, like a Metroidvania style game that's focused on exploration and not achievements and killing people for no good reason. Like, but in all fairness, I would like to see lighter toned games start to make a comeback. Like your games like your Spyros, your Crash Bandicoot. Speaking of which, I need that remake of Crash Bandicoot
Yeah, I was just going to
in
say
my
they're coming
life.
out with a new one. It's like I forgot. I'm not sure what month. I think it's to be determined.
It's due out this year though. I'm not sure on the
Yeah,
date.
yeah, they haven't like released a date, but I'm ready for that too.
Yeah,
I just I just thought of a game that I actually like want to come make, like it's been coming out, but I'm saying to make like a big comeback, and that is Resident Evil. The past, I would say, 2 Resident Evils that have came out have just been terrible. Like they're not like they're not like the old ones. You know what I mean? Like Resident Evil, like 4.
Yeah,
5, like that combat, just like I don't know, like that feeling. Like a lot of them have just been kind
that
of,
horror.
yeah, like a lot of them just been kind of like bland, okay. And then they got rid of like the co-op. See, a lot of people dig Resident Evil because of that online co-op. A lot of them, they got rid of that now. So co-op was what made it fun. Your friend come over, you play, you be online, you play. So that's what made it extremely interesting.
Yeah.
To play.
I mean, like, I'm not a big Resident Evil person. Like, I've played the games. I've always had respect for them. I never, like, really got behind the series. But, like, the Resident Evil purists will tell you that, 1 to 3, Resident Evils 1 to 3 were the best because those were the pure horror. Resident Evil 4 is more of an action game, but with horror elements. And 5 and 6 are, like, basically trying to capture the magic of Resident Evil 4 all over again. But without missing some of the stuff that made Resident Evil 4 as good as it was.
Right. So I guess we probably can move on to our like final topic that we have, which is kind of ironic since we're actually doing one right now. But
Yeah.
so like just our thoughts on like collaborations. Obviously, we're doing a collaboration right now, but just our thoughts in general on collaborations.
Collaborations are great, if you do them correctly. And I think the worst thing about collaborations is scheduling. I'm pretty sure most people can kind of co-sign with me on that. Scheduling can be a cruel, cruel mistress. But if you work with someone and you have good chemistry with them, then yeah, great things can happen.
Right. I feel like for, I don't know, like collaborations, they either can be great or they can be bad, and they can be great if you both are around kind of like not necessarily the same subscriber count, but if you're both like smaller YouTubers. Like I hear people say, oh, you need to find somebody, like let's say I have 500 subscribers and let's say the other person has 200. They feel like, oh, you guys should be doing collaboration because there's too big of a gap. Like what's wrong with me just maybe wanting to help that person, like let's say like me and you, we have like a gap, but like
a huge gap at that. The Finn army is strong. You guys are admirable.
Yeah, but the thing is like, but what if I just want to do a collaboration? Maybe that's like my friend. Maybe that, you know what I mean? Like there's like this stipulation that you have to do a collaboration with somebody that's of
bigger,
the same, bigger or the same like area as you, or else it feels like, oh, that person's not helping you. Or what if you just want to help somebody else? And then like you said, a lot of time with scheduling, that doesn't work. And I think people set too high of expectations for collaborations as well. Like for instance, like what we're doing, this is kind of a basic, we can both get on Skype, we can both I can just, record. I'm using the program. Obviously, if you want to know, like if you want to do other collaboration, maybe you want to record. It's called Evaer, Evaer, and it's it's basic. You just record, and you can edit out the ums and pauses and that type of stuff, and it's fine. I think people that try to do collaboration, like, oh, let's meet up, let's do this, let's do that, and you make it more complicated, I think, than it needs to be. Harder than what it needs to be, because like people are like, oh, we need to set up this, we need to set up that. Like, first, maybe you guys should try to talk in a party chat. Do you guys even have the right chemistry? Because I've talked to people before who I thought I would maybe do a great collaboration with, or maybe like you get like a vibe with, and it was not the case. It was terrible. So that's just.
Yeah, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. That's kind of, it goes with everything. Like, also on my channel, which you should totally check out, by the way, because I'm gonna be a hungry whore. Also on my channel, I read poetry that I write, and sometimes, and I'll work with other people. I'm willing to work with anyone, but some instances, whether it's how we write is different, and it doesn't mesh well together, or sometimes it's just we can't settle on a topic to work with, and sometimes it. And when I do collab with someone, I like to think I do okay if someone asks me. But yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a 50-50, with everyone in really anything like YouTube or in art or whatever. Like, okay, I'm going to make a kind of an obscure reference here for all the hip-hop heads that may be listening. There was that Nas project, The Firm, back in like the early 2000s, that was produced by Dr. Dre, had Nas, Foxy Brown, and AZ on it, and everybody thought it was going to be amazing. But The Firm, like the album itself, from what I heard, was good, but sales-wise it did horribly because so many other people were on that album beside them, and so many collaborations were on it that it kind of toned down, like really watered down the product that came out.
And then too, also another thing with collaboration, sometimes I think people think just because like you do a collaboration with somebody, like it's almost like doing a shout out in a sense. So let's say you do a collaboration with somebody, I don't know, that has like 500,000 and maybe you have like 200,000. Like just because someone gives you a shout out or gives you like a collaboration, like in a sense, that person could be sending dead subscribers to your channel. Because like I don't know if you've ever seen that happen, but I've seen that happen numerous times. When people do collabs, someone that's bigger, obviously the person that's small is going to gain. That's just usually how it goes. But they send dead subscribers, and it's like that's what people say, like, on Twitch. Like when people do raids, like it's up to the creator to maintain those viewers, to maintain like those subscribers, because like I can give somebody a shout out 2-3 times a day, but it's like, hey, if you don't,
if he isn't putting out content, or a person putting out good content, that's on him,
right? So yeah, I mean, I feel like collaborations, they do help, but it's like it's really about that chemistry, like, and that's why like I really enjoy watching like the Black Hokage and like the GI crew. Like I really enjoy that because their chemistry is it's real. Like
they've probably all been friends for a good period of time before they all got into YouTube.
Exactly, and it's genuine. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you can sense like that is real,
Even if they have different opinions on something like that, they still have that bond.
Exactly. And so yeah, I mean, collaboration, like I said, they help. I think it's best to do collaborations with people that you have chemistry with, regardless of what you call it, like numbers. Because I could do a collaboration with someone that has smaller subscribers, but like if our video is more interesting than someone that has a bigger subscriber, people are more likely to still watch like that video, I think, than or it's more entertaining, at least like watch time wise, probably.
Kickstarter basically, it's a crowdfunding website. It's like people come on there with like that are making movies or writing books or making video games. Hey, I'm making this project. Here's a piece of it, and if you want to donate to help you finish it, that's fine. That'd be amazing. And one of the indie games I brought up earlier, Ukulele, that was successfully funded. Like I think in like 30 minutes on Kickstarter, because people genuinely wanted to see a Banjo-Kazooie-like game again. And the problem with Kickstarter is that it's very easy to screw it up. Case in point, Mighty Number 9. And Mighty Number 9 is supposed to be Keiji Inafune, his sort of FU to Capcom for basically screwing over the Mega Man franchise. And when it came, and the Kickstarter did phenomenal, but the game itself ended up being crap. So Kickstarter really requires not only a good planning, sort of like YouTube here, Kickstarter not only provides a sense of planning from the person creating the content, but also a sense of trust from the consumers who fund the project and want to see this project come into fruition. Sorry again, I'm rambling, but yeah, Kickstarter has given us great things like Shovel Knight was funded through Kickstarter, and Shovel Knight is awesome. Go play that. And like for everything it does right, there seem to be like quite a few more screw ups. And if you need more confirmation on that, go look up watch some of Jim Sterling's videos because he's covered quite a few Kickstarter screw ups. But yeah.
So yeah, guys. So that'll wrap up today's podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and on Facebook. And if you have an extra second, don't forget to check out Nero X. That's my co-host for today's podcast. His Twitter and his YouTube channel will be down below in the description box. Please go check it out. Show some love, support. And I'll see you guys in the next collaboration. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later.
I do it for love. What you do it for? Yeah, do it for. What you do it for? I do it for the love, Yes, I do. So you don't care about the money? Well, yes, it's true. And I'm so blessed to be fulfilling my destiny. All material things could mean less to me. Only thing I ever could need is a Sarah B sample with a dope ass beat, and get the mic check. All the levels right.